What you just saw was part of the ultimate meta scare ad. Leftists at the Agenda Project featured a Paul Ryan lookalike throwing Granny off the cliff, all because the real Ryan called for a restructuring of Medicare to reform that entitlement back in 2011. While entitlement reform is important to Ryan, what's really in need of reform is his own sense of entitlement. Last week, he issued a list of demands that he said his fellow Republicans would have to agree to in order for him to become Speaker. Included on that list, the outrageous notion to get rid of the motion to vacate the chair, a rule that's been around since the time of Thomas Jefferson. Now, it looks like Paul has backed away from eliminating that rule, but he's looking for other ways to lock himself into the powerful position. To use an old cowboy expression, Paul Ryan has this bass ackward. A leader puts those he commands first and tends to their needs. He doesn't make demands designed to keep him in the job regardless of how he performs, but it was quite a performance last week as Paul issued his final demand.
I cannot and I will not give up my family time. I may not be on the road as often as previous speakers, but I pledge to try and make up for it with more time communicating our vision, our message.
Paul's message there is a personal one, and I get it. We would all like a more family-friendly house, but when congressmen have constituents who leave their homes to go into harm's way for months at a time in our military, an absolute demand for days off by the would-be speaker somehow rings hollow. But what's most troubling about a Ryan speakership is the policy he would pursue concerning our borders. Take a look at what Paul said 2 years ago at the City Club of Chicago, appearing along with notorious amnesty advocate Luis Gutierrez.
For the first time in a long time, I really believe that we have an opportunity to have a real long-term solution. And I'm not talking some quick fix. I'm talking an enduring system that works, that honors the rule of law, that honors the faith of the immigration system. And it's because people like Luis Gutierrez and Paul Ryan and everybody in between are talking to each other in a sincere way to come together, to find common ground, to once and for all get this done.
So he wants to get this done. What he calls comprehensive immigration reform, you and I know better as amnesty, and that is what a Paul Ryan speakership would bring. If House Republicans vote him into the Speaker's chair later this week, they might want to recut that leftist ad from 2011. Only in the new version, Paul Ryan would be throwing conservative voters, our national security, and the fiscal sanity he claims he craves over that cliff. That's the way I see it. Now, the way you see it. Here's what Jack has to say about the presidential race. He writes in, Carson gets a few points ahead in one state and he gets all the attention. Keep pushing for anyone else but Trump and Hillary will be president. If Trump doesn't get the nomination, we will not vote, plain and simple. Only Trump has the guts needed to bring this country back. Wake up, America. Thanks to Jack, and if you have comments, we'd love to read them while we're wide awake. Send them to newsmaxtv.com/comments. That'll do it for this Monday. We'll look for you tomorrow night. Meantime, for those you see and those you don't, stay brave, stay free, stay tuned.